Good morning, students. Today we are going to read a chapter from your supplementary book, A Pact with the Sun. The title of the chapter is The Old Clock Shop. In this chapter, we will study two things. First thing, that with the presence of mind, with our wits, we can escape from an odd situation, or we can avoid some mishappening. And second thing that we will learn from this chapter is that only goodness can win over bad person. And we can change a bad person into a good person with some act of kindness, with some sympathy, or showing love towards him. So these things we are going to learn in this chapter. Let us begin the explanation. Christmas Eve had arrived. As last-minute shoppers were going home, a thick white sheet of snow lay over Salt Lake City, USA. Yet the lights were still burning in the old clock shop as Ray, its old deaf owner, worked on a clock he had sold that day. This is a story that happened in the USA, and it is late night time, Christmas Eve. People were doing shoppings for the celebration of Christmas, and people were roaming here and there, and those were the last hours when the shopping was going on, and that area was covered with snow. Only one shop was open, and that was an old clock shop. Light was on there, and Ray, the owner of the shop, who was a deaf person, deaf means a person who cannot hear, he was working on a clock at that time. Having finished his work, Ray stood up and was on his way to the back room when a cold rush of air from the front door hit the back of his neck. So Ray had finished his work. He's an old man, and he was going into an inner room when the front door of the shop opened and a chilled air rushed in, and it touched the back of Ray's neck, and he realized that some visitor had come to the shop. He turned to meet a last-minute shopper, but his old wise eyes told him that this was not a shopper. He turned back. He thought that some shopper means a person who comes for shopping. A person has come there to buy something, but he was an old man, and he was a wise man also. His eyes told him that that person was not a shopper. He saw two men, one in his 20s, the other closer to 50. There were two men. One was a young man, he was in 20s, and another was in 50s. The younger man remained at the door. The older man approached the counter with no sign of friendliness in his eyes. So the young boy, he stood on the door and as a guard, keeping an eye outside as well as inside the shop. And the man who was in his 50s, he came inside the shop, and there was no friendliness in his eyes. Means he did not come to the shop to buy something. Rather, there was some anger, some terror in his eyes. Ray was able to hide his growing fear as he slowly pushed a notepad and a pencil across the counter. Ray understood why these two men have come to his shop. He was afraid of the situation, but he tried to hide his fear, and he put forward a notepad and a pencil. Because he was a deaf man, he whatever communication he made with the customer, it was through writing on the pad. He smiled at the unfriendly face, then pointed to his ears and shook his head from side to side. First he put a notepad and a pencil on the counter. Then He looked at the face of the customer or the man who has come into the shop. Then he pointed his hand towards his ears and shook his head side to side, making a sign that he was not able to hear anything, that he was a deaf person. A quick look of surprise changed the man's face, and he studied the notepad, then turned and said something to his friend. And that man who had come into the shop, the expression of that person changed. He looked at the notepad, then he looked at Ray, and then he looked at his friend who was standing at the doorway, and he said something to his friend there. Ray used the chance to look closely at the man, paying attention to the shape of a gun and a restless hand in the man's right coat pocket. When he was going, the man who had come into the shop, when he was going towards his friend standing on the doorway to say something, Ray noticed that there was a gun in the pocket of that man, right pocket of that man's coat. It was visible through the shape of the gun, and he got frightened. Anger boiled within him, but it was kept down by an inner voice that said, "Be still." He became angry. He became scared also. He wanted to raise his voice, but his inner voice, his wits, stopped him doing so, and he kept quiet. He wrote on the notepad, "May I help you?" For the first time, the older man looked directly at Ray and smiled. So Ray started this. He took the pencil and wrote a line on the notepad. And what was that line? "May I help you?" The old man read the note, and he looked at the eyes of Ray with a smile, a cruel, mocking smile. It was not a friendly smile. It was a cruel, mocking means making fun of. That kind of smile came to his face. They both understood why he was there, why his friend remained at the door. They looked like men who were down on their luck and were now ready to try something they would later be sorry about. Ray, as well as that old man, understood what was the purpose of coming there, and one was standing in front of Ray, second was standing at the door, and Ray understood everything. He had this idea that these two men have come to loot him, to rob him of his belongings or money. But it was such time that Ray kept quiet. The clock ticked on. Ray calmly wrote another message. "Have you come to pick up a clock or watch?" Ray kept quiet. In this difficult situation, when he knew that he was going to be robbed very soon, he kept quiet. Clocks were ticking in the shop. Ray write a second message. And what was this message? "Have you come to pick up a clock or watch?" Means, what do you want? You want to buy a clock or a watch? Although he knew that they did not come to buy anything, still he tried to look calm. Then he pointed to the loan board filled with hanging clocks and pocket watches. Then there was a board hanging in his shop, and that board pointed loans. It was written loans on it. He pointed his finger towards that board. He just tried to attract their attention towards the board. He was not a pawnbroker, but at the same time couldn't say no to the needy people who placed their old watches or clocks before him for anything they could get. Pawnbrokers, children, pawnbroker is a person who keeps something valuable and in return gives money to the person. So he was not a pawnbroker, but if somebody came to him to get some money with the simple watch or anything, he would give him money. This was the way he used to serve the society. He loaned more than he should. They would be there when the owner wanted them back. at the same price he had paid with no interest. And he was practicing this thing. He was giving loans to the people. He was paying rather more price of the things which were of lesser price. Means he was paying more money to them, but it was his way. He just wanted to help people, and he had an option also, that when people want to take their things back, they can pay the money they have borrowed, and they can take their things back without paying any interest. So in this way he was serving the people. Then the older man seemed to feel a little easier, took out his hand from his pocket and quickly looked at the watch on his wrist. "How much will you give me for this?" the man wrote. So the old man, who was a robber, he felt a little bit easy. He took out his hand from his pocket and he took out his wristwatch, and then asked the shopkeeper, Mr. Ray, how much he would pay for this watch. Ray noticed a little shame in the grey eyes looking at him. The watch was nothing special and yet had great powers. So Ray noticed that the old man was a little bit ashamed of himself. Why he was ashamed of himself? Because he had come to rob Ray and Ray was helping him. Ray looked at the watch. It was not a special watch, very ordinary watch, but it had great powers. It was something to exchange a way out of a bad situation. This was the watch which could save Ray's life. Knowing that great need had brought the man to his shop in the first place, Ray asked, "How much do you need for it?" So Ray realized that the man was not having any money, and that is why he had come to rob him. So he understood his mentality and asked the owner of the watch how much he wanted for that. The reply came back on the notepad, whatever it is worth. So they were communicating through writing. The old man who had come to rob Ray wrote on the notepad whatever it is worth. Whatever Ray would pay, he would accept the money. Ray reached into his cash box, pulled out a $50 note and passed it on to the man's hand. And Ray went to the cash box. He pulled out a $50 note and gave it to the old man. Means he paid $50 for this old watch. As they shook hands, Ray looked into the men's eyes. They seemed to say thank you. See, the man who had come to rob Ray has changed his attitude, and now he was thankful to Ray. They both knew the watch was not worth that much. Both the lender and the borrower, they both knew that the worth of the watch was not $50. But still it happened and both were happy. Before turning to leave, the man wrote, "I will be back to pick it up as soon as I can. Merry Christmas." And that old man wrote on the notepad that he would come back to pick it back when he had money. And he also wrote Merry Christmas. Means he was happy, he got the money. The little story ended on the half hour with the clocks striking all together. So here this story ended and all the clocks started striking together. The timepieces, which had been looking on silently all the while, rang out the time with such feeling that even Ray thought he could hear them. So the timepieces, the watches and clocks, they were also observing what was happening in the shop. And when they started ringing, it means they were congratulating Ray for his success in saving his life, saving his money, and plus also congratulating and celebrating that Ray was able to change the heart of that bad person who came to his shop with a bad intention. Their sweet musical message was filled with hope, the timeless message of peace on earth, goodwill towards all. was felt by the three men who stood in the old clock shop. So all the clocks together were ringing, and they were giving a message. And what was the message? On the eve of Christmas, what a beautiful message was delivered by these clocks. The message is peace on earth. Everybody should live with peace on this earth, goodwill towards all, and we should have goodwill, good feelings towards everyone. This was the message given by the clock. Watches there in the shop, and the three men who were standing in the shop, Ray and two robbers, they all listened to this beautiful message given by the bells of the clock. So children, this was the chapter. See, moral to learn from the story. See, there are 4 morals that we get from this chapter. God directs us in times of our need. Inner instincts. When we are in trouble, when we need some help from God, God gives us that power to act wisely. Second, the story shares the message of Christmas, that is of love, joy and peace for all mankind. All the festivals give this message that we should spread love, joy and peace on this earth. So this message comes from the story on the eve of Christmas, that we should love all. Jesus Christ came to save all mankind. Whoever believes that he is the Son of God shall not perish but have everlasting life. So God is present everywhere. God helps those who are willing to live a good life on this earth. The character of Ray teaches us how to handle odd circumstances with ease and grace. So the character of Ray, the deaf owner of the shop, his character teaches us that we must not lose our wits in the hard situation of our life, and we should act easily, we should act wisely and gracefully. So in this way we can escape difficult situations of life. So children, this was all about the chapter. Now you will be completing the question answer of this chapter and will sending me the responses. Thank you. Have a great day.